Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sisters on Fire IRL. My name is Natasha Nurse. I'm the proud host of this series, and Deja is our next Sister on Fire. So I'm going to give the platform to her for her to talk a little bit about who she is, what she does in her business, and then we'll get started from there.
Yes, thank you. So I am the founder of Deluxe Publicity, which is a public relations, events, and marketing firm, and based primarily in New York City, but I have clients, or we have clients in DC, California,
Nice.
and Atlanta primarily. The industries that I work on, I wouldn't say I work in a specific industry. I guess if you go to like my social media, people will say that I'm either like a lifestyle or entertainment publicist, but I like to say that I work with experts or people that want to be an authority in their space. So that transcends a variety of different industries. I've had my business for 6 years now. We're going on 6. It'll be 6 in the summertime, so I'm really excited about that. And yeah, I'm just really excited to speak with you. Thank you so much for inviting me on your platform.
Absolutely. So how did you become a publicist? What made you want to say, you wanted to work with experts in their field and help them broaden their business and media opportunities and awareness?
So I went to Clark Atlanta University, and a lot of people don't know this. So my bachelor's degree is it is in mass media arts, but more so journalism, so radio, TV, film. And I decided that it was not for me. I just felt like it wasn't creative enough for me. And I had the opportunity with one of my friends, actually. She had told me about an internship opportunity. So I was already considering PR at that point in time, and it was something that I thought I wanted to do. I even went as far as seeing if I could change my major, but at that time it just didn't make sense, and I didn't want to stay an extra semester to do it. So I just decided, okay, I'm just going to read up as much as I can, take whatever like extra classes that I can take as far as electives, and I'm going to intern and get some in the field experience or what have you. So my friend and I ended up trying out for interviewing for the internship, and we both were awarded the position. And from there, I got my start just really primarily in the entertainment space because I was in Atlanta at the time. I still stayed on current in terms of doing like the broadcast journalism thing and just studying journalism, because honestly, it really helped me to hone my writing skills, which is something that you still need in PR or really any communications field. So that's how I got my start. Now, in terms of starting my agency, my mother gave me my first client or referred me to my first client. And this was before like entrepreneurship was even like a thing. It wasn't as popular at the time. And honestly, it wasn't even like a focus of mine. Like, I'm going to start my own PR firm. I was taking classes and starting to explore like the independent route, but I wasn't quite there yet. So that was about the summer before the senior year. My mom's friend had a book and she needed some help, cheap labor at the time. I actually still have that invoice. If you see it, it reminds me, I keep it for just kind of like a reminder of where I started. But if you look at that invoice, I didn't know what I was doing, to be honest, either. So it was reflective of such, but it's just, something I keep as a keepsake. So that's how I got my start in PR.
Perfect. Okay. And what have you enjoyed most about your industry?
Oh, I just love the connections. I like the lifestyle about PR. It's one of those things where I don't feel like I'm working, especially, well, outside of the administrative things like, sending pictures and emails and the phone part of things. But when my clients have events or when I get to network or do things that I would naturally do, it doesn't seem like work to me. Like, I love going to events. I love interacting with people, making connections with people face to face. That's my favorite part. And then the strategy part too. Like, I like being creative and being able to come up with different strategies to help my clients meet their goals. So.
Absolutely. And what would you say has been key for your success as a publicist and helping people broaden, how the world sees them and where they fit on the media scale?
I would say the major thing that has made me be successful or been successful in this is just really building a rapport with my clients and allowing them to trust me and knowing that, yes, I may push them out of their comfort zones. A lot of times I get people that want, they have a goal at the end, of course, to, be more visible or to have their product XYZ, but they don't really think about the things that are required, like, having to actually like be in the spotlight, having to, interview and be on national TV. They don't think about what that moment feels like when they actually get there. And a lot of them are a little more introverted, I would say, but they have these great larger than life ideas. And just for me, them being able to trust me and, really do something that they probably wouldn't have done without me, honestly. I think that it's been my like major key in terms of just, building that rapport so that they do trust me to, push them to do things that they probably wouldn't do on their own. So.
Absolutely. Okay. So now as and so you've been doing this for nearly 6 years, you said this summer, right?
Yep.
Great. And how would you say your career's been affected being a woman and being a person of color?
I would say as far as being a woman, interestingly enough, because like I still work in the entertainment space, I have a lot of male clients where I work with a lot of male counterparts and different things. That can sometimes be a good thing, and then that can sometimes be a bad thing, as you can imagine. But I embrace being a woman. I think there's something powerful about being a woman and learning to, use your femininity. It's nothing wrong with that. That's, one of the attributes that women are given. And sometimes we can use that to play to our advantage and, pull favors, respectfully, of course, pull favors to make things happen for our clients. As far as being a woman of color, I will say that, yeah, there are sometimes the misconception of that Black people or women of color can only do certain types of press or garner certain types of results. Sometimes I've not personally, I have one time received it from an outer party, giving like talking to my client, but I was able to prove otherwise that no, that's not true. I don't only work in the urban space, which is nothing wrong with that, but I also can get mainstream press as well. And it really has nothing to do with what color I am. It's about the story. It's about the relationships that I have. So how I combat that is just,
and
living every day. Yeah. So.
No, absolutely. And would you say of the clients that you do represent, for the ones who are people of color, do you think it is harder to like rep them and get their story out to mainstream, or have you seen any difficulties with Black owned businesses or women owned businesses?
I would say no, because a lot of times the types of clients that I work with as of recently, except with the exception of one, they stand in their power of knowing that they serve a specific community. And that's honestly the reason why I've been able to leverage them to get more national press. Diversity matters, obviously. So a lot of times if I do get them press in a mainstream publication, it's because of their diversity, whatever aspect of that, whether them being a woman or a person of color. So I think it's just really, again, it's all about the niche, the relationship, and the story making sense for that writer. So I don't think, so that's what I would say.
Okay. And when it comes to pitching a client successfully, what would you say? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot that goes into it on in your services. What would you say are some of the three key things that need to be in a pitch that's going to be effective and get a journalist or get someone in media to say, oh, hey, this is interesting, I want to learn more?
I think definitely the subject needs to be compelling. I also would say the pitch needs to be timely and relevant. So it's not enough just to be like, oh, hey, like I have a small business. Like you need to come up with something that's captivating enough to make that person want to like take a second look at your story for whatever reason. I know I'm speaking very generally. I can't think of a specific example, but just generally speaking, like it has to be something compelling. I always tell people, like, my advice with the timely and relevant piece is just always studying what's going on in the news cycle and seeing if you can tie it into something that relates to your client. Because, like, for instance, like, you know, unfortunately with Nipsey Hussle passing, I saw a lot of people in my field using that as a way to tie their clients into something that they do. Maybe the client is a thought leader in some type of, you know, the community space. So maybe they have like some words of wisdom or something like that. So always try to ride the wave. I would say more specifically, I had a client that had is a women's, they make women's pumps for women of color, and new pumps. And with Rihanna coming out with the her 40 shades around the same time, that was one of the main reasons we were able to get so much press, and even main press, because everyone was covering it, and they saw that there was a need for diversity in nude skin tones. So those would be my examples. And then also, like, another thing would be just make sure you get the person's name right. Like, I see that as a mistake that happens so frequently, like just not taking time to spell a person's name, because that can turn somebody off very quickly. So
very good points. Okay, awesome. And what was I going to say? What would you say has been the greatest lesson you've learned as a publicist so far in your career?
You get what you ask for. If you don't have something, it's because you didn't ask for it. And that's what I've learned in terms of like negotiating with clients, but also with pitching for story ideas, because you never know what someone may be willing to do unless you ask for it, or they might be like, oh, well, I didn't think of it that way. So, you know, being unapologetic and not being afraid to ask for the things that you want, so whether it's for yourself or the people that you're working with or a client that you're representing. So that's what I would say.
Gotcha. And what would you say is your best way of like balancing work and life? Because as someone also who works with clients, it can be very like overwhelming, and your life becomes kind of just this montage of your job. So how do you separate, and how do you make time for you and then time for the business?
Honestly, I try not to separate. My approach is, what are some things, like for instance, one of my really good friends came to visit over the summertime, and I was working on stuff for clients, and there was different events. So I bring my friends along. Like, a lot of my friends work more like traditional jobs, like they're teachers and stuff like that. So they think it's cool that we're going to a party. Like, they're going, I'm taking them so they can get food and drinks. I'm going to network. So I think they enjoy seeing some of the things that I'm doing. Okay. But I try to invite them. Other things are too, like, I just schedule certain things. So like, I always start my day putting me first. Like, so I have my morning routine where I'll go to the gym, I'll work out, and then I start working on stuff. So you have to, you know, schedule, but also, like, I don't try to fight, like, trying to, like, I don't really believe in balance, if that makes sense. I just think it's just kind of like, it's give or take. Like, sometimes work will take over your personal life and vice versa. So it just depends on the season. I think life is all about seasons and trying to figure out what makes sense at that given time.
Absolutely. Okay, good. And then I'd love for you also to share just your advice for people who are maybe interested in being a publicist or interested in getting more media coverage outside of what we've already talked about. What are things that they should be looking into outside of like looking at the news? What else could they do to like bring awareness to what their business, their platform, etc.?
I would definitely start with just building relationships. Like, meet the media where they are. There are professional journalism organizations, like NABJ is a great one. Start going to these events. They're open to the community. You're more than welcome to attend. And I would just start there. Organically start building relationships. I think for some reason, business owners separate building a rapport with a journalist is like, they think it's different. Building a relationship with a journalist is different than building a relationship with another person. It's the same concept. You build that relationship first. Of course, like, you know, pitching is a whole different process on its own, but build a rapport. They're people first. So build relationships with them. And if it makes sense, there will become a time where you can position yourself to, you know, pitch a story. It's not all, PR is a process. It's not just a quick transaction. Oh, I meet this person, they're interested in my story, I send them the information, and then it happens. It doesn't always happen that all the time. Sometimes I've had relationships that I've developed, and because writers change different publications so frequently, I might have not had a story for them at that point in time, but I valued the relationship. So when I did, they were more inclined to at least take a look at what I pitched them, because I took the time to build that relationship with them. So I value them as people first versus what the end result would be if they decide to cover my client. And then I would say too, just like be more visible in what it is you do. Like, we have other platforms. I know it's like social media is related to PR, it's not PR, but share what you do. I think a lot of times we think people just know what it is that we do, and they don't. You can't give people that responsibility. It's on you to pitch yourself and sell yourself on a continuous basis. So that's what I would say.
Absolutely. I love it. Okay. And then with that, I'd love to swing the conversation to talk a bit more about Sisters on Fire. So Sisters on Fire, originally The Diary of a Mad Black Feminist, was a play that was started well over 10 years ago. And it was created by two professors at Nassau Community College, Marcia McNair and Anissa Moore. And we've had productions and plays in the city that have been sold out. And it's really been a wonderful kind of train locomotive that's been just going and going and going. But I started the Sisters on Fire IRL series because I wanted to celebrate women like yourself who are unapologetic, who are successful, who are determined to do what they love and help the world be hopefully a better place, and just show women how badass and cool, of women that we can be. And so I'd love for you to share when you hear the term Sister on Fire, Sisters on Fire, what does that mean to you?
What it means to me, what Sisters on Fire means to me, is just being unapologetic and being confident and knowing exactly what it is that you want out of life. But also I feel like there's a responsibility and accountability piece to that, and it's just helping other women. I can't imagine or be an example for people if I'm not helping other people along the way. Because I didn't get to where I am, and I'm still a work in progress, but I didn't get to where I am by myself. I had to rub shoulders or tap shoulders or rely on other people to be successful. So that's what I would say.
I love that. And in your life, either personally or professionally, who were Sisters on Fire for you?
I would say, so she PR bestie, and that's one of my terms I feel like I coined. I'm saying I coined it. But one of my really good friends, Reagan Farley, that is my right-hand person. Usually when I am working on projects, we work on things together. We have our own separate entities, but we have a brand together as well. Linda Stubbs, another person in PR that has helped me. I met her actually virtually. Most of these people I've met virtually, and they're just become my friends in real life. But Linda, I met her online when Periscope was like the big thing, and she reached out to me and asked could she help me with some stuff because she wanted to start getting in PR, back into PR. I would say Tira, another dope PR person, branding strategist, and does events. So there's just, I can go on and on and on, but I would say those are like my top three. So I would say those three ladies to start, but there's so many more, so I don't want to discredit anyone that I didn't mention because I don't want them to be mad at me.
Absolutely. And I love that you mentioned other women in the industry. How cool of it is that, that you sharing that, collaboration is important. And I think so many women really forget that. And we talk about it, you'll see articles about it, but it's like, it's real for you, right? You're saying you've been growing your business, you've been growing relationships, and it's helped you. And I think that's really awesome and beautiful. And so, yay. So with that, I guess I would love for you to share, I guess, if you have any announcements or ways, how can people work with you, things that are going on with you that you would love to share? That'd be great.
Yeah, awesome. So my main website is Deja, DejaMonee.com. So DejaMonee.com. I'm actually doing a free lunch and learn on Friday, and I'm just going to talk about some of the 3 common mistakes that, much like I talked today, about some of the 3 most common mistakes I see people make when they're trying to pitch in media. I'm also going to talk about my story because when I first started, I was not as good at pitching as I am today. So I like to be transparent with people and anyone that follows me on social media. So you can find me on Instagram at I am Deja Monee. So IAMDEJAMONEE. And yeah, so I'm pretty much active primarily on Instagram, but you can find me there.
Okay, gotcha. And so you said DejaMonet?
MEE. Oh, NEE, sorry. I can try to type it in the chat too. Let me see. On my other
Yes, that would
phone.
be great. If you could put that in the comments, then we can,
I'll type it
you
in.
know, have that there. All right. And then let me share your Insta. You said I am Deja, right? On Instagram?
Yeah, I am Deja, Monee. So Deja Monet.
Okay, there you go. Gotcha. So I got that. So we can add that. And then also for your own PR, I'd love to. Okay, perfect. Okay. Check out.
Yep, I'm saving everything. Okay. Thank you.
Yep. There we go. Now for your own PR, how do you build awareness for your own business? Because do you ever sometimes struggle with like building your own brand while working on other people's brands?
Oh yeah, definitely. But you know what? I feel like for some reason this year has been a year of a lot of clarity, and you're going to start seeing a lot more of the things that I will be doing to market myself, and because I have to do that in order to, you know, keep this business going and being sustainable. So there are a lot of different things that are coming up, but I don't want to give too much away, but it's going to start making sense for people what it is exactly that I do, because I feel like it's a lot of mystery around PR. So I'm going to start creating some different collateral and things to show you, and just really getting more transparent with my story, and just the goal is to just invite people in so they can really have a crystal clear picture of what it is that PR people do. So yeah, but I think too, in terms of just like marketing your own business, I feel like a lot of publicists struggle with this because we're so focused on other people's brand. But I've just been making it a point, even if it's just like once a week, just like brainstorming different things that I want to do. And like I have a list of things that I want to do that I'm like slowly just checking off and executing, because I have to service my clients, but also I have to grow the brand as well, because I won't be in business if I don't. So
Exactly. If you're not selling, you're not making money. So you gotta keep selling.
Yep.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Deja, I really I appreciate all your advice, all your wisdom. Do you have any last minute words of advice or thoughts for people?
I just want to thank you again for allowing me to be on this platform. I just want to encourage everyone that's following to don't be afraid to share your story. I think as women, we sometimes struggle with wanting to share our story and share what's going on with us, because either we feel like we're bragging, or we feel embarrassed. But there's power in your voice, and there's power in your words and sharing your story. And I feel like this is the time, this is the year. It's evident in what's going on in the media space. If you look at the movies and see what types of stories are coming out, this is the year to, if you've been struggling with that, to do it. Because advertisers, I feel like if it's being bought, then it's proof that, you know, we need to do more of it. So that's all I want to leave people with.
I love it. Yes, share your story. Be unapologetic about sharing who you are and what you do. Completely agree. And also work on, you know, it's a progress. I think storytelling, people forget that like it's something you have to work at, right? Because a lot of people struggle with, how do I tell my story? What is the who, what, when, where, why, and how of me? But it's a process, and don't be afraid to keep learning. Speak with experts like you, people who can help like kind of funnel the conversation and direct you the way that you need to, and just be hungry enough to achieve your dreams, right? So with that, thank you for being a Sister on Fire. Thank you for sharing your story. We have the website, your social, people reach out to her. She's here as a resource to you. Take advantage, and just thank you again for everything.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.